Hi, y'all. Today I wanted to talk about some book series that are perfectly clean and appropriate for middle schoolers, but are also books that, as a high school, almost senior, I have really, really enjoyed and still love. The first series is, of course, going to be The Wingfeather Saga by Andrew Peterson. This is a series about a family who lives in this small town that is overrun by these creatures called fangs. They learn a lot of secrets about their past, and they have lots of adventures, journeying to new places around the world. I'm finding it hard to talk about it without spoiling anything because I don't want to spoil anything about the series for you. But it's really amazing, really heartfelt. Family bonds are amazing. There are great friendships. It's perfectly clean. It's written by a Christian author. The world building is absolutely incredible. The characters are realistic. There's lots of Christian allegories. Yeah, it's just so good. I would recommend this to absolutely any middle schooler. And as a high schooler, I still love the series with my whole heart. The next series is Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger, and I'm not even going to try to hold up the whole series at this point because it's half as tall as me. The books just get bigger and bigger as they go on. The longest one is almost 900 pages, I think, but they go by super fast. The writing is very fast paced. It's perfectly appropriate for any middle schooler. There's a little bit of romance in it, and there's more violence in the later books, but I read this as a middle schooler, and I know lots of other middle schoolers who have read it, and it's been perfectly fine for all of them. I will say, as a high schooler, I can definitely see how the series does come off a little bit cringy. Personally, I don't really mind that. A lot of the dialogue could use some work. So, if you're somebody who's really picky about realistic dialogue in books, you're not going to get that here. It is definitely pretty cringy, and some of the plot is a little bit too. And it's definitely one of the series that has been dragged out longer than it needed to have been. But honestly, I'm not complaining because I still love the series so much. These have some of my all time favorite characters, and Shannon Messenger is really, really good at writing like emotional bonds between characters and friendships and romance and things like that. She's really good at it. So I really love that. The world is always so much fun. I love the plot too. It's really entertaining and fast paced. Yeah, so I think it's a really great series and I still love it. And as a testament to how much I love it, you can just see how beat up my copy of the first book is. Like, look, look at that. It's not in great condition. I've read this probably 8 times. I think I started reading it when I was around 12 or 13. I got the first book from the library and I read it like 3 or 4 times while I was waiting for the rest of the books in the series to come in. So I love this series. I think it's really good for any middle schooler. And even though high schoolers might find it cringy too, I still think that there are plenty of them who would enjoy it. The next book series is The False Prince by Jennifer A. Nielsen. I can't find my first copy of the book. I'm in the middle of redoing my bookshelves, so I'm not sure where it went, but I have it somewhere. This series is really, really good if you want fast paced books, shocking plot twists, really lovable characters. It's really fast paced. It does get a little bit overwhelming sometimes because of how fast paced it is, and it can get a little bit confusing because of that. And then when you add on the fact that we kind of have an unreliable narrator, it definitely can be confusing at sometimes. But I flew through these books. There's the original trilogy, which the first book is somewhere, I don't know. And then there's these two sequel books which take place between like the ending and the epilogue of this book. These two books are not necessary for you to read. You don't have to read them. I personally really liked them. I think they add a lot to the stories and the characters, and I really enjoyed them just because I love the characters so much, and so I was really glad there were two more books about them. Oh, and also I do believe they're written by a Christian author, so everything is completely clean. There's no spice. I don't believe there's any cursing. There is violence, but it's not excessive, you know. So, yeah, highly recommend these to anybody. I think they'd be perfectly fine for middle schoolers, even though I read them as a high schooler. The next book series, we know it and we love it, Percy Jackson and the Olympians by Rick Riordan. If you haven't heard of this book series, if you haven't read it, I'm not sure what to tell you. What are you doing? I feel like most readers have read this at some point in their life. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it to any reader. These books are really, really well done. So it's about this boy named Percy who discovers that he's the son of Poseidon. You know, he goes off to camp and he fights monsters and has adventures and quests and makes friends and all of this amazing stuff. It's a really, really great book series. And there's a sequel to it as well. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. I'm literally looking at the series on my bookshelf and I don't remember what the series is called. The first book is The Lost Hero, I know. But the sequel series is pretty good too. It adds a lot of really interesting characters. Now, I wouldn't say these books are as clean as some of the others I recommended. They're not written by a Christian author, and so there are some things that, as a Christian, I was uncomfortable with in the later books. There might have been a little bit of cursing. It wasn't excessive though. There's definitely a lot of violence, but that's again more in later books. There's some romance, but it's perfectly clean. As a Christian, what I was uncomfortable with is that later on in the series, there is a character who comes out as gay. It felt like it was made a lot bigger a deal of than it had to be. And there was also nothing leading up to it as well. It came very suddenly and it was made a huge deal out of. It was really only for like a couple chapters of like the last book in the sequel series. So if you're uncomfortable with that, you can skip that chapter. It's perfectly fine. I don't believe there's any important information in there. I did read the Kane Chronicles, which is a separate series. It takes place in the same world, but it's with the Egyptian gods instead of the Greek gods. And that was also a really good series. I really enjoyed that one as well. I've also read the first book of the series where Percy's at college. That's also a really great series so far. Very similar to the original Percy Jackson books. It's from Percy's perspective again. It's with the original trio, Percy, Annabeth Grover. That one's really good. Next up, we've got A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. These books are incredible. I was obsessed with them in middle school, and I still really, really love them. There's also been a really good TV show made out of these, so if you like the books, I highly recommend the TV show. I have the episode based off of the fifth book. I have that pretty much memorized at this point. I've seen it so many times. Now, I will say, these books are not happy books. That's in the title of them. It's called A Series of Unfortunate Events. They're not happy books. They can be quite depressing. But it's like depressing to the point where it's like a little bit over the top, you know? So they're perfectly fine for middle schoolers, I'd say, but if you are a little bit more affected by sad things, I would warn you against the series maybe, because you know the basic premise of it is it's these three siblings, they've lost their parents, they're orphans, and they're going from different guardian to guardian. All the guardians are terrible and horrible. They do terrible things to them. And they usually die in terrible ways as well. It's definitely very grim. There's some happy moments in it, but they are few and far between. But I think the characters are really well written. Violet Baudelaire, one of the siblings, she's one of my all-time favorite characters. I love Violet so much. I love all of the siblings. They're all really great. Yeah, I really love these books. There's a great TV show, and they're also clean, I believe. I don't remember there being any cursing. They're completely clean romance-wise. I think there's like one kiss or something. Spoiler alert for the first book. The first guardian that they live with does try to force Violet to marry him. It doesn't happen though, she gets out of it, so it's perfectly fine. But yeah, other than that, this is a really great series. I love it so much, and I highly recommend it. This next book series is Lockwood & Co. by Jonathan Stroud, and I would recommend this for maybe older middle school. I read this in high school, probably about like 10th, 11th grade or something like that, and I love this series. It's really, really good. But because there is more violence in it than some of the other books, I would say to, you can do your own research about it first, know what you're comfortable with. I would say probably 8th grade and up for this series. Some younger grades would be fine with it. Like, I think my little sister, Ellie, she could probably read the series and be fine. She's going into 7th grade, but she's also read, like, Hunger Games and things. So, you know, it depends on the person. So this one does have a little bit more violence, a little bit scarier, because it involves ghosts as well. The main premise of this is that they're this teenage ghost hunting agency in London. It's really, really well done. The characters are written so, so well. They feel really realistic. I love Lucy. She's the main character. Lucy is written so well. I don't care what anybody says about her. They say that, like, she's annoying or whatever, but I think that's just the fact that people relate to her more than they would like to. Lucy is a very relatable main character. She's very well written, and any unlikable things about her are completely understandable because of her past. Like, she doesn't make friends with girls easily, but that makes sense because of some of the trauma that she's gone through in her past. So it makes sense even if she does seem annoying sometimes because of it. It's not out of character for her. There is romance in this, but it's like very, very, very slow burn. Like, really slow burn. There's no kissing or anything. Really, really slow, but really well done as well. There may be some cursing in it, but like British cursing, because they're in London. And as I already said, yes, there is violence. But yeah, it's a really, really good series. And honestly, it's in my top 5 series, if not top 3. Like, it's up there. I love this series. Next, we have The Giver by Lois Lowry. This is a dystopian book series, which is kind of different from all the other recommendations I've given. I think a lot of kids have read the first book, The Giver, for school, but a lot of them don't know about the other 3 books in the series. Yeah, this is kind of just like a classic middle school literature class book, but it's very much worth it. I personally didn't read it for school. I read it on my own when I was younger than they would usually assign this book. It's really, really good. It takes place in a dystopian world where basically all identity and choice has been stripped away, but it's presented as a good thing. Well, at first. Actually, I shouldn't say dystopian world. I should say it's presented as a utopian world. Utopian is the opposite of dystopian, if you didn't know that. And so it's presented as a utopian world where our main character, Jonas, lives in this city, and there's no color, there is no choice, there are no emotions. When he turns 12, he is sent to the choosing ceremony, and this is the ceremony where, like, the leaders of the city, they give you your job. Jonas, he doesn't really know what his job is going to be. Some people, they could be assigned to be teachers or workers, or if you're a girl, you could be assigned to be a birth mother, all of these different things. And Jonas, he is assigned to be what's called the giver. And the giver is somebody who holds all of the memories of the past, basically. So these people, they don't have any memories of the past, which the past is our world as it is now. They don't remember things like Christmas and color and joyful emotions and parties and laughter and all of these things. They don't remember that of the past. And so Jonas, he is apprenticed to this man who gives him these memories of the past. So the first book is about Jonas and his journey through that. I don't remember any cursing. There's like a little bit of violence because some of the memories that Jonas is given are violent, like memories of war and things like that, but they're not too bad. And there's no like sexual stuff that I remember. Perfectly appropriate for middle schoolers. Honestly, I think I read it as an elementary schooler and I was fine. I was also more of an advanced reader for my age, so it depends on you. Now, the next 3 books in the series are actually not about Jonas. These are about different characters. Gathering Blue is about this girl named Kira who lives in the same world, but it's very different from Jonas's world. While Jonas's world is seen as like perfect and technologically, I can't pronounce words. You know what I mean. While Jonas's world is very advanced, Kira's world is very rural. So she like lives in the forest and they have to like build log cabins and she has to learn how to weave. Her main thing is she has this twisted leg, so she limps everywhere. Maybe my favorite in the series. I really liked this one. Then we have Messenger, who this is, I don't want to spoil it because if I say how it's connected to the other books, it'll spoil the ending of these 2. So I don't want to say much about this one. This one is probably my least favorite in the series, honestly. I didn't connect to the characters as much, but it's still really good. And then Sun is the last book in the series. It's really good. This one I've only actually read once. The rest of these I've read multiple times, but Sun I've only read once, and I kind of want to go back and read it again. It's about this girl named Claire. She lives in Jonas's city from the first book, and she was assigned to be a birth mother, which is basically they're young girls that are like made to be pregnant. I can't think of the word, but it's like through science or whatever they get pregnant and they have babies, and that's how the babies of Jonas's world are born. And so Claire is a birth mother and her son is taken away from her. That's what happens with every birth mother in the series, but Claire, she wants her baby back. And so she goes through this journey trying to find her son and ending up in this different village where she's welcomed there, and she tries to grow stronger and do whatever she can to find her child. It's a really good book. It's a really sad book. It has a lot more deeper topics than some of the other books do. So it's a harder read, and I wouldn't recommend this one to maybe younger middle schoolers. Now, all of these books do have very deep themes in them and really well written themes, and they may go over the head of some younger readers. I know they definitely did for me when I was younger. I didn't understand a lot of the themes in them, but as you get older, you start to appreciate them a lot more, and these are really good books. All right, this is going to be the last book series I have for you, and this is the Ruby Redfort series by Lauren Child. There's actually a couple more books in the series, but I just didn't feel like trying to hold all of them. This series I actually have not read in a while, and I don't think I ever finished it because I always got the books from the library, and then I like actually got the whole series like for my birthday at one point, but I'd kind of forgotten what happened in the earlier books, so I didn't finish the last book. This series is about a girl, Ruby, and she's like a spy. It's been a while since I read the books, but I remember really, really loving them. She's a spy and she joins this agency, and I think they recruit her to do something specific for them. And but she's always doing like what they don't want her to do. She's very much a rebel. She does what she wants, and it gets her in trouble a lot of the time. But she was always really fun to read about. She's got some great friends that I liked reading about. And honestly, I don't remember a lot about the series, but I read these when I was probably in like sixth grade or so, and I really loved them. All right, that is all of the book series that I have to recommend to middle schoolers. I have a lot of standalones as well, so if you're interested in seeing standalones that I'd recommend to middle schoolers, let me know. I'd be happy to share those. I hope that these books gave you some ideas if you were looking for some clean series to read. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought about them, and if you have any other recommendations that I didn't add. Thank you for watching. Bye, y'all.